All right, the biggest update to Playback from Multitracks is here since I've been a user of it anyways, and that's only been about a month. But these are some of the things I wanted from the start, and I was like, sweet, it's already here. So let me show you. The first thing is being able to trim sections. Let me show you how to do it. I have this weekend's set list pulled up. Let's say I wanted to trim the intro down a little bit. Before, I had no way of doing anything. It was just get rid of this section or add a section. So like I could delete or add, but I couldn't trim. Now, if I go to this little doohickey right here, we have this new menu that pops up, trim section. It turns yellow. If you're familiar with Apple stuff at all, it looks like the iPhone. You can just trim it down per bar to whatever you want. So I'm gonna apply that. It turns gray so you can see what it's like until you hit done. And now you can listen to it.
Intro 2, 3, 4, verse 1.
Now, I don't want it to be like that, so I'm going to undo that. And if you want to undo it, you just hit it again, trim section, bring it back out, push apply, hit done, and you're back to normal. That is a game changer. That is. I spent hours a few weeks ago with my interns. Like, I want this ending. I wanted the ending of the song to crossfade, right? Crossfade into the next song, but the ending was so long. I just want to trim a little bit of it off. I could not figure out how to do it. Well, and I saw it on the website because I think I typed in how to do it and there were the instructions, but the instructions were not lining up with what's here. That's because it just was about to be released and now it's here. So if I wanted to trim the end of the song, let's do it one more time. Boom. Go to the E on ending, trim section, and I can trim it up a little bit as much as you want, which is really cool. Cancel, done. Thank you, Multitracks. Now, one thing I think you can do, this is kind of like a workaround. I'm coming from Ableton where I can like customize everything I want down to the bar and make everything perfect. It's a lot of work, but I'm used to doing that. And sometimes there's a song called You've Already Won by Shane, and the bridge is like, the song is in 6/8, but every now and then they throw in a 3 count instead of a 6. And when I was first learning the song, I went into Ableton and added extra cues, just copy and pasted cues where I wanted them to help me know when to come in. Now the song, I know it pretty well, but I thought there's no way you could do that on here. But now that you can trim sections, I found a little workaround. So let's just say this outro. Let's say I wanted that outro to say outro more because I wanted to keep myself on track. What I could do is, like, let's say I wanted it to say outro 4 times in that section. That's a lot. Maybe let's start with 2. I could edit and I could add another outro. Boom, just like that. So now I have 3 outros. And then I could trim the back end of this outro and apply. And trim the front section of this outro and apply. And that way, sonically, it's the same music, but it would say outro more times. So that way you could add more cues. So
Outro.
How cool is that? That's an amazing workaround. So I'm going to put that back because this is actually Sunday's set list. So I don't want to be messing it up. There are a couple other limitations, and I'm going to save those to the end because I have like 3 or 4 things that I think they should still add, that they could add, things they could do. So I'll tell you that at the end. Okay, the next thing that they've added is that right now I'm in like this slider view. What's it called? I don't even know what it's called, but it's all the sliders, all the stems that I control. But now they've added the ability to have expandable bus mixes. What do I mean? Some songs, like this song, let's say, piano and keys, you can now hit this arrow and see all the tracks that are in there. So this one has 2 keys and only 1 piano. Let's go to How Glorious and go to guitars. I think it had 2 electrics, 3 keys. There's 3 keys tracks. What this does is it allows you to see quickly how the keys are, mixed, and you could dial those in. Let's say I wanted it like that, and then collapse that, and you could just control the mix of all 3 of those keys, how you've already pre-mixed them. So where I could see this coming in handy is every once in a while, I like to like choir, background vocals 1 and 2. I like to bring these in sometimes to help fill out the sound, or I may do that in rehearsal so that I can hear, maybe like if it's a new song, we can hear the melody or when people come in. But I might want to mix it like this, okay? But I don't know how loud I actually want it in the house. And so I think, oh, I might want it like this or whatever. Well, I could save the mix like I want it. I want the choir higher than the background vocals. And now the drummer, whoever's running tracks, can be like, oh, I can just pull down that whole bus that I've already pre-mixed. Just bring down the whole bus. That's awesome. It's just more layers of freedom and creativity that you can have in the mix. What's also cool is that you can now, when you edit, you can go to automations and you can automate everything. So let's just go to the intro here. I want to add, boom, I want to add an automation. Oh, you move the playhead, add automation. Let's say I want it to happen over 4 beats. Everything that turns green, oh, didn't realize my iPad was crooked. Everything that turns green, you can automate. So for that section. So let's actually edit that section. Can I edit it? Boom, let's make this 8 beats. Boom, so it's real long. And over this, I actually want to manipulate the keys. And so at the beginning, I want this one down and this one halfway. And then as I go to here, I want this one all the way up. Nope, add an automation. I'm still learning this because I only had it a month. So let's say the keys were all the way down here. This one's halfway. Now I want to add an automation. I want it to be over 8 beats. Let's add it. I could name it. And then I want to bring this one all the way up, bring this one down halfway, bring this one out all the way. Just as an example. Hit done. And now
Intro 2, 3, 4.
boom. Now, I wish there was another thing. I'm going to save it for the end, but there's something right here that I'm like, I wish they would have put that in here. All right, we now have the ability to rename a song section. So instead of verse 1, let's say I wanted to sing verse 2 here, but I really don't want the tracks to change. I think you push edit, you go right here to that same little dot at the top. Oh, I was in automation. Need to go to set list song map. Now hit the little dot, and I can name this verse 2 if I want to, and it doesn't change it to verse 2. Like, it doesn't switch it out to verse 2. I'm merely just calling that verse 2, and then when I push play, it's going to call it verse 2.
Verse 2.
But the tracks are still verse 1. Does that make sense? And so this could be helpful if you just want to change something. Maybe you want to change the wording right there or something, or maybe the cues in here are calling something different than maybe the custom chord charts that you've made. You can customize it now, and it actually is not just visual. It changes the cue that comes before it. So let's edit that again and undo it to show you how to do it. You hit the edit button, you hit the whatever you're changing, and this is just merely changing the name of it back to verse 1. Love that. That's great. Now, one other thing here in settings, you used to be able to go to buses. No, let's see. Count into each section. This is a global setting where instead of just saying verse, it would say verse 2, 3, 4, or whatever the count in is, but you had to change it at the global setting. No longer. They made it more customizable, which is great because yesterday I had an audition and we were singing the song Beautiful Jesus, and it just said verse. And it was slow, and then you don't actually start singing until after the 1 count, and it was a long time, and I was like, man, I wish I could just put in the cue just for that section. Now you can. So let's just say verse right here.
1.
Wait.
Verse 1.
So right there, I want to add a section. Edit. V2. Play count in just on that 1 section. Now it's there.
Verse 2, 3, 4.
But it's not on all the other sections.
Pre-chorus.
But you can go through and add them where you want them, which is just great. I love that we have the flexibility to do all this stuff now. All right, so the last thing that they added in this update is rentals transfer. Now, what this means is that I can rent the songs like I've done here so that I can manipulate them, set the automation, set the levels, and then once everything is saved, I can transfer all that to another device, which is great. So once it's saved, you can go to the set list that you're working on, and now it says transfer rentals to another device. I could go like this and look for other devices. If I had other devices or another person set up, I could do it right there and share that with them. This is perfect because I could have Carter, my intern, work on mixing the tracks on his own device, and he could get everything ready for the upcoming week and practice that as an intern, and then go over there and share it to the main iPad that we will have at the church. That way he doesn't have to take home the church iPad. He could do it on his iPad if he owned an iPad, which I don't think he does. But anyways, you can do that. Now, for the things that I wish Multitracks would do that they haven't done yet. The first one, an undo button before you save. So if I'm editing and I've done some crazy stuff, I want the ability to just undo what I just did rather than having to go in and remember where things were, especially like an automation. So maybe I had already set my, well, let's go back to keys. We knew they had multiple there. Maybe I had already set, but I don't remember where they were because I was playing with automations. I'm like, oh, I actually don't like that. Let me just undo. I would love an undo button before you push done. It should be able to be done. So I hope they can add that. The second thing, I wish I could see waveforms other than the main track. Meaning I wish I could see waveforms for all these keys tracks. So if I go to buses or if I just see it, I see all these here. And as I play, I can kind of see them jumping up, but they don't really jump up in reality. Meaning like it could be full volume, but it just shows a little bit of green at the bottom. Like my fader is all the way up, but yet the green is way down here. So to me, that makes it feel like the volume is way down there. Anyways, on their app chart builder, you can see, like when you're practicing, you can click on your instrument and you can see the waveforms of like, oh, the drums are out in verse 3 and they come in halfway through verse 3 or whatever it is, or the background vocals, whatever instrument it is, you can see the waveforms. There's nowhere when I'm prepping, especially songs that have like 7 guitars, I don't know if guitar 4 is playing at all. Maybe it just does like a little swell or something. There's no way for me to know that. So I have to kind of listen over and over again 7 different times to figure out when that guitar comes in and I find myself playing. There's got to be a way where when you click on something, you can see maybe an additional little waveform at the bottom, which would be awesome. Pop up as you're listening to maybe like edit mode or something. Surely they can give us waveforms for specific stems so we can edit quicker. The third thing I wish they had, rentals is great. And I understand how they do it. It's cheaper for us. You get it. If you don't understand, you get a rental for 7 days. So I rented this yesterday. I'll have it all the way until a week from now, 7 days, and then it disappears and then you can rent it again. A great system. But what this does is it limits us as worship leaders from being able to work ahead. So right now I have a D now coming up in like a week and a half. And I would normally have already made my Ableton tracks to get ahead, work ahead, batch my work, do it when I'm already doing something weeks ahead so I can feel rest assured that is done. I can't even start that until I know I'm 7 days before we're about to start. And then I want to make sure that as the days go by, they don't unrent themselves. So actually I need to 7 days from the end of like a summer camp. Well, that means like if summer camp is 5 days long, I can't even start making tracks until 2 days before because they might unrent them. I just got to make sure that it's 7 days before the last day or they will unrent themselves and I will have to rent them again and waste more money. So there's got to be a way. Here's my idea that where you can edit in like unrented mode so that maybe there's a audible watermark over it. So you can't use it live because you haven't paid for it yet. I understand the reasoning behind it, but still allow us to edit it. Because if you haven't rented, you don't get any of the stems. So you can't go in and do things ahead of time, which is very important for like I said, summer camp or Christmas. I'm taking time off. I like to work ahead. I like to work ahead. I'm noticing I can't work ahead. I can't work ahead more than a week. And I plan out more than that, especially like I'm going to be leaving town for 2 weekends and I want to get everything ready for my intern to take over. I can't do that right now. And what if he runs into problems? I need to be able to do it ahead of time. So allow us, Multitracks, to edit in like unrented mode, and it wouldn't be able to share the audio because it would constantly say multitracks.com every 4 seconds. That's fine. But allow us to manipulate that ahead of time, knowing we are going to rent it when it comes. Surely there's a way to do that. Okay, the last thing is, and I understand it too, but the capture mode, screen capture. Sometimes like when I'm in Chart Builder, have you ever like accidentally done a screen grab, screen capture? Well, there's like this warning that comes up. It's like, if you do this too many times, your account's going to be suspended or some sort of warning. And like for tutorials, I have to do this and there's like reflections in the screen because I can't screen capture the screen because of the licensing. I can't screen capture anything. It blocks it. And I understand. And I don't have a way around it, but I'm just voicing that it's a problem sometimes. And it's scary because I was like, I don't want to lose my account by accidentally screenshotting something or trying to do a tutorial video to show my volunteers, hey, I screenshot Planning Center all the time. Do like little videos. I'm like, oh, here's how to do that. Here's where the button is. And I'll send them a text. You can't do that with any of this. So it's just kind of a problem, and I don't know the work around just yet. All right, I hope you liked this video. Let me know down in the comments what other features you would like me to explain, teach. I have some things in my mind, but let me know down in the comments. It'd be better if we interacted. Let me know what you're excited about. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.